I had a plan in mind for AirPods Max, and this wasn't it. As the Max have been updated since they came out in late 2020, and with the need to switch out the lightning cable for USB-C soon, I figured I'd sit back, be patient, and wait until 2024. Makes sense, right? I'm supposed to know a thing or two about this kind of thing. Yeah, that didn't quite work out. AirPod Max was the only Apple product that I didn't own. I have a pair of OG AirPods, 2 pairs of AirPods Pro, the original version and the second gen, 2 HomePods Mini, and the new HomePod, and you can watch my video about that right here. For the longest time, all through lockdown, in fact, I used an original pair of AirPods. They're still the best fitting pair of AirPods that I've owned, but I really wanted ANC, or active noise cancelling, so I bought my first pair of AirPods Pro. When out near roads, that original pair really struggled and had any car noise, anything like that was anywhere near me, drowned out whatever I was listening to. My first pair of AirPods Pro impressed me that much that when Apple released the second gen last fall, I knew I had to try them out. For me, out of all the Apple gear I bought last year, those Gen 2 AirPods Pro were the standout. So I thought in this video, if I made some comparisons between the second gen AirPods Pro and AirPods Max, it may be useful. You may well have listened to and used some AirPod Pros, so I can try to let you know how they compare and contrast and if trading up to a pair of the Max is worth it. What I won't be doing is comparing these two with my growing collection of studio headphones. You may have seen some of my other videos where I take a close look at those, but they are for a very different use case. By design, studio headphones are very, very flat in response, which is exactly what I want when I'm mastering my podcast, for instance. And although there are clearly differences between AirPod Pro and Max, they fit very much into the same bracket. Generally, people that are into buying AirPods Pro could easily end up wanting a pair of AirPods Max. Of course, one pair is over-the-ear headphones and the other are earbuds, but both are Bluetooth, both have spatial audio, ANC, and adaptive EQ. But crucially, the big difference is that chip. How will the older H1 chip stand up to the newer H2? Many of the improvements in the second-gen AirPods Pro stem from that fantastic H2 chip. The revised acoustic algorithm and that new custom-built driver have made a huge difference to the audio delivery on Pro 2. Out of the gate, the two sound signatures are similar but different. Max give you a much fuller, immersive sound experience, and given that these are over-the-ear headphones, that's not altogether surprising. A/B testing the two using the same tracks, it was very clear that there's an Apple signature going on here. To my ears, the lower mids are more scooped out in AirPods Max. This helps with the vocal mix on a track to be a little more present or forward, and without jargon, that just means you hear the vocals clearer. I'm not saying that they lack bass, just that they've not been given the Beats treatment, if you know what I mean. I guess the best way I could describe the bass is that it's not overwhelming. It doesn't drown you in a thick, thumping, heavy bass. And coming from a studio background, I've got used to flat, neutral responses on headphones. It's not for everyone, and you probably wouldn't want that kind of sound for casual, recreational listening anyway. The frequency range is pretty wide and full. I keep coming back to that word full, but that was the first impression I had when I started listening to them. Similar to the Pros, the Maxes use a combination of microphones, 6 outward and 2 inward-facing mics, to detect unwanted noise and cut it out before you ever hear it. The noise cancelling is better on the Max, no question, and you'd expect it as your ears are covered. So even though the technology is older, the ANC is actually more effective, if only down to physics. It just makes me wonder how crazily good these will be when they get the H2, or by that time the H3 chip put inside of them. Actually, at home last night, the ANC was too good. I could hear literally nothing else that was going on around me, so I had to switch over to the transparency mode instead. AirPods Pro 2 do win out with their adaptive transparency mode though. The way they manage to cut out loud explosive sounds, such as a dog barking in real time, is one of their party tricks. Again, when the Maxes finally get the upgraded chip, can you imagine just how good the adaptive transparency will be then? I need your help. Turns out I do. We are that close to getting 1,000 subs here on the channel, and somebody out there is going to be the number 1,000, and it could very well be you. So if you've been enjoying these videos I'm making over the past few weeks and you're enjoying the content, don't forget, if you can give me a sub, that'd make all the difference in the world. And if you're enjoying the content on the videos, make sure you give it a like at the same time. It helps YouTube to send the video out to more people, so more people see the work and the channel grows even quicker. It all makes a huge difference to me. And don't forget, every fortnight I do the podcast Minus 16 with Alex. It's got its own channel here on YouTube. We've got some great guests lined up and great plans for the podcast coming up, so make sure you check that out as well. And I write every day on Medium, so you can find me in all sorts of places. But I just wanted to thank you for all of your efforts to help me get to number 1,000. It makes a huge, huge difference. Guys, let's get back to the video. Speaking of Alex, I remember that when I was with him, he was mad keen about spatial audio on his AirPod Max. I told him I was making this video, so I reached out to him, and this is what Alex had to say on spatial audio and AirPods Max.
Hey David, thanks for having me. I'm Alex and I run a tech channel just like this one. When it comes to the AirPods Max and spatial audio, this has been great for me. I'm not an expert on this stuff, but not every single song has been mixed with this in mind. But when you find a song or a bit of content that brings together Dolby Atmos and spatial audio, man, it's just a fantastic experience. And I should mention lossless as well. When you listen to lossless spatial audio on this, everything just comes together so nicely. You know, I don't consider myself an audio connoisseur or anything like that, but I love good quality audio and I'm always looking for decent speakers and headphones. Honestly, I love coming back to the AirPods Max when I want to listen to music. I've actually used it a few times for video editing as well, but for me, it's just a much better experience for listening to music. Spatial audio is not something that is easy to explain in video, right? And I know Apple are not the only ones trying to do this. And I have tried a few different ones, but I just keep coming back to these bad boys. I've had the AirPods Max since launch really, and only had one problem with it, which is I couldn't charge it for a couple of days. It just left me scratching my head for a bit, but other than that, it's been fantastic. It kind of fixed itself after charging, so no other issues really. Thanks again, David, for having me, and see you soon.
Don't forget to check out Alex's channel, Alex Gear and Tech. It's brilliant. AirPods Max and Apple TV together are stunning, simply stunning. And I can see myself using them a lot in the evenings when I want to watch TV and not wanting to wake everyone else up in the house. I've used AirPod Pro with a TV before, but AirPod Max are even more comfortable and definitely went out for me. They just seem like a perfect match. The weight I thought may be an issue really wasn't. I'd heard that they get to feel really heavy after wearing them for a few hours, but I honestly haven't found that to be the case. That may be, again, because I'm used to wearing studio headphones that tend to be heavier anyway. And at nearly 400 grams, these AirPods Max are heavy, but they're so well balanced, you really don't notice it. The overall design is very Apple. They feel premium. The yokes or legs don't have clicks or stops in them as you pull out the ear cups, but the motion is ever so smooth and tight. You can get the ear cups to exactly where you need to be. They're really well engineered, and the cups are removable too. Now that's a feature that some of my studio headphones should adopt. That would help me so much. This mesh headband is so soft and padded, it's comfortable and it does the job. The digital crown that you use for the volume or track skipping feels in the wrong place to me. It feels really awkward being at the back of the ear cup and not at the front. One other design element I need to fix is that the ear cups don't flow or bend at the bottom to follow the shape of your head. I keep just wanting to be able to bend them in a little bit, if you know what I mean. And I think it also leads to a little bit of audio leak as well. I've heard a lot of people talking about the smart case. Look, it covers the most important part of the headphones and gives you access to charge them too. There is some weight to the case and it feels okay to me, but if you really don't have much of a life and you want to find something to moan about, then fill your boots. Don't forget you have to use the case if you want to put the headphones into a full low power mode to preserve battery, although with a suggested battery life of 20 hours, I guess that isn't going to be a major concern. If you can, I'd wait. Everyone is saying that there'll be new AirPods Max probably as soon as next year. That means they'll come with a USB-C port, new drivers, the latest chip, and the Max's version of adaptive transparency. But if you just fancy them, get them. Like phones and Macs, we're now in a period of incremental improvements. It's almost impossible to buy a bad product from Apple now. It's just a case of finding the right device for you. Would you be seeing me using these on the podcast? No. Latency could be an issue there, and putting a possible tripwire in the way when recording makes no sense. For that and audio editing, I'll be sticking with my biodynamic headphones. Would I wear these away from home? I'm not sure. Let's just say I'd pick and choose carefully where I'd wear them. Although I've seen more and more people wear them out in the real world, or in the wild, as people like to say, I still feel they'd make you a bit of a target. They're a niche product for sure, but they do deliver what they set out to do. Really, really good defined, easy to listen to audio, super easy to set up, of course, and work effortlessly across all of your Apple devices. I'm glad I got my hands on a pair to finally draw my own conclusions on them. In the evenings and at home, I think I'll use these more than my AirPods Pro. And sitting back in the sofa, watching Apple TV, yes, please. And talking about Apple TV, over the weekend, I watched the first Apple TV Plus movie release of the year, Sharper, with Julianne Moore and John Lithgow. Well worth a watch. It's a really, really clever plot. I just about stayed up with it. So, AirPods Max, worth it? Well, they're expensive and not for everyone. But yes, if you are neck deep in Apple gear and want an effortless way to enjoy above average audio quality that work from the moment you pick them up, cable free, then yes, they're worth it. Don't forget, if you found this video informative, enjoyable, or surprisingly, both, then that sub and like really would mean the world. I'll be back with you next week, but until then, why don't you hang around and watch these couple of videos? Cheers guys, I'll catch you next week.